Hey, Kyle Querec here, and today is Gear Day. Gotta love gear. And what piece of gear is the sound of rock and roll? Marshall Stack? No. Fender Strat? No. Atomic drum set, double bass, dude? No. I'm not going to keep you hanging. I'm going to tell you right now. Please join us at the very end, and we're going to have a little sports take. I know, please bear with me. But the sound of rock and roll, it's 1176, man. Come on. So what makes the 1176 compressor limiter so magical? Two things, I think. Number one, you can apply it to virtually every instrument and voice on a recording, especially if it's rock and roll, R&B, pop, metal. Drums explode. Bass gets a girth and bigness. Guitars roar. And vocals, man, it'll hold that vocal, put some hair and mojo on it. There's nothing like that sound. It's the sound of the 1176. So we're going to listen to a little bit of the history right now, and we're going to have a little snippet of a recording just on a voiceover. And you normally wouldn't do this with 1176 because it has such a color. But you're going to see what it does, how it really just ignites the sound. And then at the very end, we're going to come back for a sports take. I know, I can't help it. We're going to talk about the greatest. Well, no, not the greatest. If you're going to start your football team with a running back, who would it be? So stay with us. In 1967 and ultimately released in 1968, the 1176 compressor is still probably one of two or three most sought-after compressors of all time. And not all 1176s are the same. There were several revisions. It started with revision A all the way up to revision H. Most people feel that the revision Ds and revision Es from 1970 to 1973 were the best models, with ratios from 4-to-1, 8-to-1, 12-to-1, all the way to 20-to-1, and then the famous all buttons in mode, which essentially sets the audio on fire. You have been listening to my voice on an RE20 going into a Blue Robbie Mic Pre into a DBX 160 XT for tracking. That's what you're hearing right now. Now we're going to hear some 1176 put on it. This is the 1176, same chain, but now I have added this in post. This 1176 plugin. This is the A version, revision A blue stripe, and as you can tell, mojo for miles. But you also can hear that the audio got noisier. It's just going to happen with an 1176, and you have to be aware of that on how you drive the input. But that's where the magic is. And specifically for me, on vocals, the heat, the attitude, and really the swagger. That's what I think of when I think of an 1176. A compressor with swagger.
When you don't get in and out of the huddle, when you don't substitute, when you don't communicate, when you don't fight, you don't belong.
Okay, I'm starting my team. And of course you start with the quarterback, and of course it's Tom Brady. Listen, I'm a Jet fan. Can't stand him. He's the greatest ever. And you know, it's not even close. Enough with the Joe Montana, for the love. Come on, man. All right. But who's the tailback? I'm not going to keep you hanging. We're not going back to 1912, you know, with horse and buggy and leather helmets. We're not doing that. We'll go from like around 75 on. And my running back is Marshall Faulk. Oh yeah. Marshall Faulk, and let me tell you why. Because he's an A or an A- in virtually every category. And the only thing he's a B in was probably injuries. But you ask any coach, they'll tell you. He will always be the smartest player on your field. He's probably going to be smarter than the other coach. He does everything at an exceptional level. He is unbelievably confident, and he's coming to play. I love it. Marshall Faulk. Do me a favor, if you liked what you heard today, just subscribe. I think it's the button down there. Join us every time because we're going to always be talking about gear, the history, the people, and we'll even do some original music and kind of dwell into some of the gear in that. So it was great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Maybe I can give a little bit of the spirit to you.